Hey guys, I've had a few of you reach out to me specifically about layering, what I'm taking from a clothing standpoint and how I'm going to dress while I'm out there. If you've been on a wilderness trip with me before, you know that I'm going to be in my compression shorts as much as possible and only my compression shorts. But when I'm not in that, I did want to go over with you guys. I figured the easiest thing would be a video, and that way I could just shoot it out if any of you ask. The biggest thing that I try to focus on while I'm out there, I'll try to make this as quick as possible, is layering. I want the ability to be as comfortable as possible, whether I'm hiking and I'm getting hot, or whether we're getting to the top of a summit and I'm hot, but it's about to get cold because we're about to experience like wind and a drop in temperature. I want to be able to adjust as much as possible. So you'll notice that I bring a lot of layers, and I'll try and walk through with you what I have. I've also been out there where we've had a cold front move in, and it's been closer to like 40 degrees with really stiff winds for a prolonged period of time, and I've had everything that I brought on and still struggled to stay warm. So you want to be able to be warm if we have unfortunate weather, but you also you want to be able to be comfortable with what you're doing, and layering is the key to doing that. So I'm going to go through with you really quick just what I'm bringing, how I'm bringing it, how I'm wearing it, and then hopefully if you have any questions, obviously just reach out at any time. Starting with base layers, what I have on right now is a Smartwool thin merino wool base layer. This is what I wear almost all the time out there. There's times where I'll be in just a t-shirt if it's really warm and we're hiking. But for a lot of our hiking, especially at elevation, I'll have this on. I usually put a t-shirt on over it. This is the merino wool one. I love merino wool, it's awesome. If you listen to the podcast that I sent out, there's a big discussion on merino wool versus synthetic. This is a Patagonia synthetic one that I will also take. I'll use one of these as my day one and one of these as my night one. But these are what I wear on myself. This is just a North Face t-shirt that I will wear usually over this. So that'll give me 2 layers that I will have on. And that's pretty much what I wear all the time. This is just a thin pair of shorts. It's actually lined that I will wear if the weather is nice. If we have 60 to 70 degree weather, I'm not really concerned about my lower half being warm. And so I will wear these for a lot of our hiking if possible. And then I'll bring probably 2 pairs of these. These are like a Patagonia like jogger type pant. It's really lightweight. It's pretty thin, but it's also durable. This is my camp pant for once we are in camp around the fire in the evenings. And then I may bring a second pair of these to hike in so that I have 2 different pair with me in case it's just a little bit too chilly to hike in shorts. My preference is to hike in shorts, but I want to have a pair of pants available just in case. And so I'm going to bring these. These are super lightweight and they pack down really tight, so like I'm not really worried about space or weight with having the extra pair of pants. One thing that I do take to Colorado that I don't take to Canada is a base layer for my lower half. And so these are merino wool, Smartwool brand pants. You don't have to have a brand name. Merino wool are really nice. They're more expensive, but having something for your base layer. I mentioned that my pants are pretty thin, and so with the thinness of my pants, if it does get cold and we do have wind, having a base layer that will help keep you warm. These are also great to sleep in, so that I don't necessarily have to sleep in my pants, but it is a base layer to help just give me an extra layer of insulation. I wear these a lot out in Colorado. And so having a base layer for your lower half will help keep you warm, help keep you regulated in your temperature. So I highly recommend, you're gonna have to have some kind of pants. I would recommend a base layer underneath your pants. I would avoid cotton if at all possible. I know sometimes you can go get like that like waffle material that's cotton. If we have a really cold snap and you get hiking in those because it's really cold and you sweat through those are gonna take forever to dry out. They're not going to keep you warm once they get wet. Or if we're like hiking and you have them on because you're cold and it rains on us, or if we're around camp, if they get wet, they're not going to keep you warm. So avoid cotton if you can. Wool is ideal, but if you can get like a synthetic pair or something like that that will give you some insulating properties without and hold heat if they do get wet. That's going to be ideal for you. So that's pretty much my bottom half. I'll have those on mostly around camp, pants on around camp, and then shorts if the weather allows for it while we're hiking. I will oftentimes hike in this with a t-shirt on over it. I will layer. So once if I have my t-shirt on over the top of this, my next layer I'll probably put on is this. This is again, this is a merino wool. It's a quarter zip. And so this will be my third layer that I put on. It allows me to have an extra layer of insulation without being too heavy. So that's my next layer I will put on. The next thing I'll put on if I continue to be chilly is this fleece. Fleece is obviously a little bit heavier, so it packs up a little bit larger, but it's a quarter zip. I've worn this on a lot of different wilderness trips. It does a great job of helping keep me warm. And so this would be the next layer that I put on. And then I brought a couple of these. Once I have that on, the next layer that I will put on is either my raincoat or a vest. These little down vests are great. Down does a great job of like keeping you insulated, and so like I will throw one of these on over everything, zip it up nice and tight, and that will help keep my whole core warm, which will help keep the rest of me warm as well. So these usually pack up into a pocket to something about this size. This is another one that I have. I'm going to open it up just to kind of show you the difference in the sizes. This one's a little bit more, I think, insulated than what the other one is. And I'm not sure how much this one was originally designed to pack up into the pocket, but that's what I did with it. So this is another one. This is 32 degrees. You see these a lot at Costco. But this one, again, very similar. Just gives you a nice down layer. Does a great job of keeping your core warm. And then there are times where, I mentioned the one trip that we were on the mountain, it got to like 40 degrees for a couple days with wind, and I had everything on. There's times where I'll put all this on and then put my raincoat on over the top of it all. Once I get this on and I zip it up, this basically acts as like a windbreaker. So all my insulation is the layers that I have on, and then this basically creates a breaker for the wind, and that will keep me nice and toasty. That's pretty much everything that I bring. I will always pretty much have a base layer on unless it gets really warm hiking. This is the item that I will put on and off the most, because there's times where I may be fine insulation wise with my base layer and my like I may have 3 layers on and be fine temperature wise, but the wind is really cutting, and this is a nice easy thing to cut the wind and help keep you relatively warm. So I keep this accessible at all times, but I want the ability to continue to layer and shed layers while we go through hiking. Obviously your activity level around camp is going to be less than when you're carrying a full pack, and so just being able to be comfortable out there. One other thing that I will mention is between my fleece and my quarter zip and my vest and my raincoat, I will wear those during the day and at night around the fire. If I'm sweating during a hike, I'm probably not sweating through this layer. I'm probably sweating through this and maybe my t-shirt. So this stays relatively clean. This stays clean. And if I'm at the point where I need to have those on, I'm probably not sweating a ton anyway. And so a lot of my layers are, I use for both the nighttime and the daytime. So you don't need to bring 2 sets of layers for all of those. But that is my layering system. I wear wool socks for everything. I bring a pair of wool gloves because like I don't ever take gloves to Canada, but it does get, if it gets cold up there, it's gonna be cold. I'll bring a stocking cap, something like one of these that will obviously, I sleep in that a lot of times. A lot of your heat escapes through your head, so I'll sleep with that to help regulate my temperature at night. And then obviously at night around the fire, if we get any wind, those are really nice to have. And I think that's pretty much it. So if you have any questions, feel free to shoot me a text. Obviously, you can give me a call. I look at this stuff all the time online as well. And so if you want some options, if you want to shoot me a link to something you're looking at, I can give you some feedback on it. If you're wondering where to go get something, I can shoot you a couple links on some options. Don't go buy $1,000 worth of stuff, because I've been accumulating over a few years. But this system works really well for me, and it'll probably work well for you as well. The only thing I will give you a caveat in, I run pretty hot. So if you're typically like, if you're fighting to stay warm a lot of times, in a lot of situations, you may want to add a layer, or you may want to bulk up a layer. I have a pair of pants that are thicker than the pants that I bring. That would be really nice protection against like wind and things like that. I don't necessarily need them because of the temperature I run at, but like if you are constantly like, if you're thin-blooded and you're cold a lot, then you'll want to adjust your layers a little bit to accommodate. But this will hopefully give you a little bit of a synopsis and idea on how you should be layering, and hopefully it'll help you pack. A couple weeks, we'll see you out there.